All right, let's talk about accounting. Now, I know what you might be thinking: spreadsheets, regulations, balance sheets. But today, we're going to look past all that to the single most complex, most unpredictable variable in the entire equation: people. Because at the end of the day, accounting isn't just about numbers, is it? It's about the people behind them.
So let's jump right in. The whole world of finance, it's built on a foundation of logic, right? Precision, rules. But here's the catch. Every single financial decision, whether it's a client's risky investment or your own team's audit strategy, is made by a human being. And humans are, well, they're messy. We're complicated. And that's exactly where psychology becomes one of an accountant's most powerful and maybe unexpected tools.
You know, as a chartered accountant, you're really living in two different worlds at the same time. Over on one side, you've got the hard facts, the concrete stuff: financial statements, regulations, tax law, black and white. But on the other side, you have the purely subjective: a client's deep-seated fear of risk, the tricky dynamics of your audit team, and yeah, even your own hidden biases. To be great at this job, you really have to master both.
Okay, I get it. You might be hearing this and thinking, psychology? Isn't that a little soft for the hard-nosed world of finance? And that's a totally fair thought, but it's a huge misconception. We are not talking about guesswork or fuzzy feelings here. We're talking about a serious, rigorous science.
When you strip it all down, psychology is simply the scientific study of the mind and our behavior. I mean, the name itself tells you everything. It comes from the Greek words psyche, which means soul or mind, and logos, which means study. It's a field that is completely dedicated to systematically figuring out what makes us all tick.
And here's the really crucial part to get. Psychology is built on a solid foundation of empirical evidence. Its insights come from data that is observable, verifiable, and testable. And that should sound pretty familiar, right? It makes it an incredibly reliable tool for a profession that values precision and proof above pretty much everything else.
And it gets there by following the exact same scientific method as any other hard science. You start with a testable prediction, a hypothesis, then you go out and you collect the data. You analyze that data meticulously, and only then, after all that work, do you draw conclusions. It's a system, a process for finding reliable truths about people.
So, how does all this theory actually become something practical for you? Well, I want you to think of psychology as a toolkit, and inside are different tools designed for the specific challenges you face every single day. Let's pull out 3 of the most important ones for any accountant.
First up, we've got cognitive psychology. This is your tool for thinking. It's all about our mental processes: memory, problem solving, decision making. For an accountant, this is your bread and butter. It helps you understand the real limits of human attention when you're sifting through thousands of transactions. It helps you recognize those sneaky mental shortcuts and biases in yourself and in your clients that can lead to really critical errors in judgment. Next in the kit is social psychology. This is your tool for teamwork because, let's face it, accounting is rarely a solo sport. This tool helps you understand things like group dynamics. Why might a board of usually cautious people suddenly make a super risky decision? It could be groupthink. How do you build trust with a really difficult client to get the information you need? That's all about rapport. It's the key to making your communication truly connect and persuade. And finally, there's a tool that's just for you, for your own well-being. It's clinical psychology. And let's be real for a second. Accounting is a high-pressure job. Understanding the basics of resilience and stress management isn't some luxury. It's absolutely essential. It's what helps you maintain the mental clarity you need for high-stakes work, especially when you're in the middle of a brutal tax season or a massive audit. Okay, so now let's see these tools in action. I want to show you a really powerful example that perfectly connects psychology and finance. It's time we finally bust one of the biggest myths in the entire world of economics. You've probably heard this one before. The classic economic model assumes that we are all perfectly rational actors, that we always make logical financial choices based on all the available information. We see this idea everywhere. But is it actually true? In one word, no. It's wrong. Decades of research have shown, without a doubt, that our financial decisions are massively influenced by our emotions, our biases, and all sorts of mental shortcuts. And this brings us to the amazing field of behavioral economics. It's this fascinating space where psychology and finance crash into each other. It studies the real psychological drivers behind the economic choices we make. And for you, as an accountant, this isn't just some abstract theory. It explains so much of what you see in your clients every day. Let's look at a few of these biases. First up, we have anchoring. This is our tendency to get totally stuck on the first piece of information we get. Just think about a business valuation. That very first number that gets thrown out, whether it's realistic or not, it acts as an anchor for the entire negotiation. It becomes incredibly difficult to move away from it, even when brand new data comes to light. And then there's confirmation bias. Oh, this one is a big one. It's our natural instinct to look for information that proves what we already believe, and, just as importantly, to ignore evidence that challenges our beliefs. Now think about that during an audit. If you go in assuming the books are clean, this bias can make you unconsciously skim right past red flags simply because they don't fit your initial story. It's a really dangerous one. And finally, let's talk about loss aversion. This is so powerful. Psychologically, the pain of losing $100 feels way, way worse than the pleasure of gaining $100. This simple fact explains why a client might hold on to a failing investment for dear life, refusing to sell and actually realize that loss. Or why they might panic sell perfectly good stocks during a market dip. We are just wired to avoid the pain of a loss. So after all that, what's the big takeaway? What does this all mean for you? It means that when you start integrating this human insight with your technical financial expertise, you just become a more effective, a more aware, and honestly, a more empowered accountant. Think of it like this. This knowledge literally gives you a set of professional superpowers. You'll be able to better understand and even anticipate your client's behavior. You can double-check your own thinking to catch your own biases. You'll be able to communicate complex financial data in a way that people actually understand. It really elevates your entire game. You know, the source material for this explainer put it perfectly. It said, by applying these principles, you can truly excel in a world where numbers are constantly meeting the complexities and intricacies of the human mind. So I'll leave you with this to think about. The next time you're looking at a balance sheet, or maybe tomorrow when you're talking to a client, what's the first human element you're going to see? The fear, the bias, the hope? What's hiding there, right behind the numbers?